What is good? Welcome back to another Thursday on my channel. My name is Mike Osterman, and if you don't know, every Thursday we do a freestyle trick tip. That is a skateboarding trick tip somehow related to this stuff. Now, I love freestyle skateboarding. I've been doing this stuff on my board for the last, 13-ish years of my life. The community that I've found in it and the tricks I've been able to do and the experiences I've had with freestyle skateboarding means so much to me. So anything I can do to get other people involved and show people this thing that otherwise they may have never seen before gets me pretty hyped. So let's dive into it. I'm actually gonna go jump over to my new favorite skate spot, because as much as I love doing these in my apartment right now, I'm a little cramped, a little stir crazy, gotta get out of here. So let's hop over there, shall we? Oh man, I've been told a couple of times I look like the bizarro world evil Mike with this thing. I don't know, we'll see how long it lasts. I'm kind of getting sick of it already. But we are back. This is my new favorite spot. It's like this basketball court in the middle of doesn't matter where. Usually very few people, so I can just skate and bust around and just kind of do my thing, which is always nice. And today, like I said, we are doing the trick tip for the 5 easiest freestyle tricks to learn using SkaterTrainers. The guys over at SkaterTrainer, they make these things, the SkaterTrainer. They sent me some stuff to play around with. I went out and hung out with Cindy, Snow Fox that is. We made a little video. If you haven't seen that one yet, you can click this little thing right here. Oh, I really hope that's the corner it's gonna appear in. I can never remember. Since then, I really want to talk about some of the tricks that you can do and you can approach with these. Really, if you're a beginner freestyler, like Cindy is, having something like the SkaterTrainer can really help you to develop the mechanics for tricks, even if you're still having a little bit of trouble getting the confidence down to approach some of these tricks. They can allow you to push through that hesitation and get a little bit more confident with your tricks a lot quicker, in my opinion. So I'm gonna talk about which tricks you can really use these to push into and really get yourself going in the freestyle world. And number 1 on that list is Casper's. Since there's a lot of different ways to get into a Casper stall, the way that I first suggest people learn how to do it is the quote-unquote plop. It's sort of a pressure flip, however, you don't want to leave the ground. The goal here isn't that you're kick flipping into it or you're pressure flipping a full rotation to get into the Casper. It's simply a pressure flip done with your front foot to roll the board over. So to start the trick, you're gonna have your back foot behind the back bolts of the back truck, and you'll have your front foot on the heel side edge of the board about halfway between the trucks. I like to hang a good amount of my foot off of the heel side rail of the board. Everybody finds this trick different, and based on your board size and your shoe size and all of that, you might need to have more or less of your foot hanging off the board. From this position, you'll lift off some of the weight from your back foot and focus on pressing down very hard on your front foot, forcing the board to rotate just like it would for a heel side rail stand. However, you're going to rotate the board 1/2 of a kickflip rotation. As the board rotates, you'll focus on shifting your weight over to your back foot and aiming to have your back foot land square on the tail of the board. And if done correctly, you will catch the grip tape of the board on the top of your front foot. Now from here, I like to just scoop the board. That is, I push forward with my back foot and pull up and over with my front foot and try my best to land on the grip tape of the board. If you need more tips for the Casper dismount, we have done trick tips in the past about the Casper. I would definitely say check those out. I'll have another card right here on for you to check out and really tie the trick down with that. On to the next trick, yeah? Let's go. Number two. So next I want to talk about the handed pogo. We've talked about this one in the past and other trick tips that I've gone over, but I want to graze over this one more time. I think this is a really freestyle trick. When people get into this thing, this style of skating, I think one of the first tricks they really want to try is pogos. And what people often overlook is getting into pogos and the mechanics, the real like base mechanics of the Pogo. The benefit here of the Skater Trainer is twofold. You've got the lack of movement that you have when you're trying to get into the handed Pogo. Funny thing that I did not expect about the Skater Trainer is that you can actually lock onto the truck better because of the rubberized part of the wheel cover. It allows you to stand more comfortably on the truck, in my opinion, and although I wouldn't really skate with these in a session, when it comes to learning Pogos and getting comfortable on Pogos, knowing that you're not going to slip off the truck and nut yourself in the Pogo, this can really be helpful. For this trick, you'll start in a nose stop. That is with your nose pinned to the ground and your back wheels up in the air. Now, I like to start by grabbing the tail of my board with my back hand and taking my back foot off of the board. Now from here, I'll give a little bit of a hop off of my front foot while simultaneously throwing the board across my body from my back hand to my front hand. The goal here is to sort of swing the board upright and vertical to give myself a platform to land on with my back foot. Now, as you're coming down from that slight hop, you'll be landing with your back foot on the base plate of the back truck. You can see in these video clips there is sort of a perfect spot, sort of a square of metal on the base plate of most trucks that your foot tends to want to sit on for Pogos. One mistake that people tend to make with this trick is that they will wrap their front foot around and really press the board between their feet while they're doing a handed Pogo. While for no-handed Pogos, you need to have your feet squeezed together, hugging the board. In the handed Pogo, you have to be hunched over and crouched over the board. You need something to counterbalance the weight of your shoulders pushing forward. Now, let's say you are bored of the first two tricks. You've like gotten the Pogos down, you're sick of even doing them, you've locked down your Caspers, you're like, Mike, move on, I've done this before, I know all about these, why are you babying me? Well, I'm about to really blow your mind right now. So we're gonna move on to something a little bit harder. And I actually really like this trick because it's the beginning step to really flipping your board around, getting fancy, getting crazy flipped, flashy combos going for your crowd of fans. And this trick is the finger flip. Specifically, it's the tail stop finger flip. And we've talked about versions of this in previous trick tips. But again, I really feel like it is important to go over the core basics of these so that when you guys start pushing into different variations, you have a great foundation for that. The finger flip from tail stop, of course, starts in tail stop. So your back foot will be pressing the board down and your front wheels will be hanging out up in the air. From this position, I will reach down with my front hand, my thumb on the grip tape, and my fingers wrapped underneath the nose of the board. To flip the board, I will jump off of my back foot and press down on the thumb of my front hand while pulling up with my fingers. This is gonna send the board into a kickflip rotation. You'll watch it rotate under you and focus on slamming your feet back down over the bolts of the board. Now that's a single finger flip. You can also do double finger flips. You can do 360 finger flips. You can do varial finger flips. But the way that I first learned, and what I think is the easiest way to learn, is the kick flip direction straight single finger flip. There's always potential to land a little bit off and have your balance too far back or too far forward, and it can be easy to hesitate and step off or only land with one foot on the board. Now, Skater Trainers can provide that confidence for you to stick every landing of the finger flip and get to the point where you can confidently flip the board around. You know it's gonna land on the wheels, and you know that you are gonna catch it the way that you need to 90% of the time, maybe. And maybe you're over it. Maybe you're like thinking, Mike, I'm sick of using my hands to flip my board around. I want to use my feet. I got one for you. It's called the Kickback, or the 1 1/2 kickback if you are fancy like me. So the 1 1/2 kickback is a 1/4 pressure flip in the kickflip direction, followed by a 1 1/2 underflip in the heel flip rotation. It can be done rolling, but it can also be done stationary, which I think is the best way to learn the trick, hence the reason we're covering it today. Now, we talked about flashy when it comes to finger flips. I think the next step is really the kickback, because it's confusing. People think it's a kickflip underflip, and really it's just two motions that people can pick up very quickly. Now, to do the kickback, you'll start with your back foot square over the bolts of your back truck and your front foot on the heel side rail of the board, and really just the ball of your foot over the edge of the concave of the heel side rail. Now, if you can do heel side rail stands, that pressure motion is going to be similar to what you'll need for the kickback. So next, you'll give a little bit of a hop off of your back foot while flicking downward with your front foot. This is going to send the board into that half pressure flip motion in the kickflip direction. Now, as soon as you can feel the grip tape of the board on the top of your front foot, The goal will be to flick the board up, sending it into a heel side motion. Now this is the hard part. It's really a game of getting the timing down, and just like the Plop to Casper trick that we talked about earlier, different shoe sizes, different board sizes, depending on your setup all around, you're going to need to do this trick a little bit differently. It's really a personalized trick that you'll need to toy around with and figure out your sweet spot for. So the board is now flipping in a heel side flip. You'll be lifting up your knees and aiming to slam down your feet over the bolts of the board, and then, like, you know, saying what's up to somebody walking by, or like throwing the finger guns at your friends who are all gawking in amazement at how good you are at skateboarding. I don't know, man, just do something cool. And once you have the mechanics down and you're comfortable both flipping the board and landing on the board, you can start learning them without SkaterTrainers, and you can also start learning them rolling, both regular and fake. There's a bunch of different variations and combinations you can start with the kickbacks. I like doing them to rail. Other buddies of mine can do varial kickbacks, all kinds of crazy stuff that totally boggles my mind. But I'm more of a purist. I like just doing the regular ones and moving on to the next trick in the combo. And you like combos, you say, huh? How about some footwork combos? We've talked about footwork in the past. Actually, I think my last trick tip was all about freestyle footwork. And one thing that I really love about footwork in freestyle is that we've incorporated a lot of things from freestyle longboarding. Things like boardwalks, which I always get super hypnotized by when I see them in longboard videos. This trick is definitely something that you can pick up both rolling, stationary, in combos. So to start this trick, I'll have my feet over the trucks. I like to cross my back foot over my front foot. I think that's how most people do it, but I could just be a weirdo. You'll have to check the tapes and see what other people are doing these days. So I'll bring my front foot to the center of the board, then I'll cross my back foot up and over my front foot. Now from here, you can either continue by bringing your front foot back around, or you can end the combination by just hopping back to the regular stance. The beauty of these tricks is that they start basic, and you can quickly build them up into combinations to make them look really flashy and make it really interesting. Really, the goal in learning tricks is to break it down as much as possible, focus on each individual step in the trick, and once you can master those sub-steps, building them up into greater combinations and harder variations. That's how I break down tricks. That's how I still learn tricks today, and then building it up from there. Thank you to SkaterTrainer for helping me out, sending me these, and letting us try them out and see how they work for freestyle tricks. I'll have links below if you want to learn any more about the SkaterTrainer. If you guys have any other suggestions, or need any more tips, any more help for these trick tips, don't hesitate to comment below. Ask for help, hit me up in my DMs or on any of my socials. I'll be happy to help you out with any tricks you have trouble with, or just steps that I haven't quite covered fully in the trick tips. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to see more from me, want to learn more trick tips and see more of just random skating with my friends, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you get notifications, and I'll see you Sunday for another Sunday fun day with me and the homies. Till then, keep dancing. Bye.